In this video, I'll be going through how to create figures for documents, Google Docs that is, using Google Draw. In this, we're going to cover four main areas. The first area is going to be how do you start Google Draw. Second one is how you adjust the size of a drawing. And three, using figures, numbers, and short captions to be able to clarify your images. And four, citing sources of copied images. The first one, let's get going with how to be able to start Google Draw. The first thing you do is open up your Google account and get to your Google Drive. Once you've opened your Google Drive, you'll be able to see this option here for Create. Click on Create, and there's a couple different ways you can do it. Either you can start with a drawing directly, or you can do it from a Google Doc. On this video, I'm going to cover how to do it with a separate drawing in using Google Draw. So click on Google Draw for a drawing. And notice you're going to have this checkerboard pattern right here. Pretty simple to start. I recommend going ahead and labeling, clicking on this box here to rename and give it a title. So for instance, maybe we'll do this one as Habits of Mind, and I'm going to give it the title for the first one of Persisting, and click OK. Now your image has a title, and you can play around with these features. It's a drawing program that's pretty self-explanatory. For instance, if you want to have a shape, just click on a particular shape, click on it, and you're able to insert that particular shape into your drawing. Notice you have a lot of different controls, whether you want to shrink the size. This yellow one here, you can click it and you can skew it depending on how you want it to go. You can change the color. You can change the particular line size of it. You can also do any type of line dash drawings. For instance, you could do it as a dashed one. Playing around with this and kind of figure out what it is that you'd like to have done. The next section, I'll show you how to adjust the size of your drawing once you have your Google Draw document opened up. When you want to change the particular size of your drawing, just go up to the File and pull down to where it says Page Settings or Page Setup. In the page setup, you're able to click on the standard, whether you have a particular ratio, or in this case, we want to do a custom. Click on custom and then put in, for instance, since this one had to have a 3x3, we can go 3 by 3 inches, knowing that that's where my drawing has to fit within, and click OK. You'll see that now your drawing has been done to that size. One of the things I recommend, once you know that this drawing or this palette space is exactly 3 inches, why not go ahead and click on the tools, hit your shape. Let's just put a border right toward the edge, and that will give us that finished look. So when we go to cut it out, we're sure that everything will be all within that space. But I'm going to come in just a little bit, and you'll see why in the next drawing why we will want to do that. I'm going to come in just a little bit so we have some extra space there. But you're going to want to make sure that you click on, you want it transparent. And again, since the default had been there, I want a solid line. There you go. The next part, I just want to go over how we want to use figure numbers on all of our particular illustrations that we insert into any of our documents, and how it's wise to include a short caption. Remember from the last time we left a little bit of space down here at the bottom and on the side. What we're going to do is insert a figure number. And the easiest way to do this in Draw is just click on a text box, and now you're going to draw where you want it. And I'm going to draw it down at the very bottom. So we go here. Now in this case, I'm going to put in figure, and then just you number them sequentially. So for instance, this is our first one, so I'm going to do figure 1, and I'm going to give it a brief caption. In this case, I'm going to call it quotes persisting, because that's my particular item that I'm working on for my Habits of Mind project. When you click off of it, you'll see that this one here doesn't quite fit. So why don't we highlight everything, and then come up to here where you can say, I want to change the font. I'm maybe change it to Times New Roman. It looks quite formal. And I'm going to change it down to 12-point font because I don't need it to be really huge. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to center this within the particular picture. And a couple ways to do it. I can set the edges on the edge of my picture, and then I can go ahead and be able to click do it this way, or I can just go ahead and space it out. Probably easiest on this one, just to space it in the middle like that. So now you see I've got a figure 1 persisting. The next thing that we want to do is just to make sure that you have this caption labeled and do it in sequential numbers. The last part we want to go over is how to cite the source of copied images. In the current internet rapid availability of different images, it will be important for you to be able to cite your sources, especially when you're borrowing things that are under Creative Commons licensing. In order to give this citing sources, I've gone ahead and gone on to Google. I did Google image search and I found an image that was able to be reused. All I have to do is cite the source. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a text box here and I'm going to go ahead and cite the source for this. Now this I got from Flickr, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the Times New Roman. I'm going to make this pretty small because it'll be on the side, but I'm going to have this photo by, and all he said was his name, so I have to cite the name of the person that was on there, and it didn't even give his last name. Photo by Colin, and I'm going to have it taken from, and I'm going to go ahead and give it the actual link to it, so that way it would be seen by anyone. So I'm giving full credit to the person with it. Now notice what I'm going to do is I need to have this, I'm going to put this photo credit on the side. So what you do is you click here, this one, and you can rotate it, and rotate it once to the 270. Now what will happen is I can move it over, and I want to have this photo credit because I'm kind of limited by the space. I'm going to actually reduce it one more. So let's see if we get down to 8 point. Will that get it there? That will be a little bit helpful. And then just arrange it so it looks nice. Usually the photo credits are given to the side, and that looks pretty good. Now I've given the source from which I've gotten it, and if you wanted to, you might be able to even reduce that a bit more so it's nice and small. But now you have it. It's taken from, I've given all my citings, and there you go. Now I've got a great image. I'm in full compliance for citing the source. I also have a nice professional look.